Okay, sorry I'm not there in person to go over this, but pretty much same thing that we did the last time. You should have got a Scantron sheet. Make sure that you have your answers not only bubbled on there, but you also have them written down in your booklet. I do want to go over the first 8 questions. Instead of giving you guys all the answers today, I'm only going to give you the first 8. I'll give you the rest of the answers on Monday. And again, I'll go over those first 8. If there's any time left in class, then you can try to do some more of the problems, because I know not everybody got all the problems done for all 30 questions in here yesterday. But again, make sure you have your answers written down, and then that Scantron sheet needs to be turned into the sub. So take a minute to make sure your name's on them, make sure you have your answers in both places, and then please get them turned in. If you need to pause the video while that's going on, then please pause the video. All right, well, let's go over the first 8. Before I even go over those first 8, I'm going to go ahead and give you the correct answers for the first 8. So I'm going to put up the answer key here for the first 8. So correct answers for 1 through 8. 1 was C, 2 was A, 3 was A, 4 was C, 5 was C, 6 was B, 7 was B, and 8 was D. And again, if you want anything past that, I will go over the rest of them on Monday. So if you have any other questions that you want to ask for me to go over, I will, as well as I'll give you the rest of the answers so that you can check your work. All right, so let's go over those 8 questions. Now, on number 1, you had a chart. On that chart, they told you a lot of information about, basically, it's like renting a car. Again, some of the terms and stuff that they use are a little bit different, but it's essentially renting a car. So they tell us, first off, that they originally planned to rent a car for 5 days for 5 people. If we look at that price, that is $14 to start with. So that's our starting point. That's for 5 people in 5 days. Now, they say, well, 2 of the people are only going to be there for 3 days. So that means that all 5 people are there for 3 days. And then after those 3 days pass, there's only going to be, well, those 2 are going to leave. So you'll be down to 3 people, and you'll have 2 days left. So 3 people in 2 days is 6. So if we decide to go with this second option, we'd have to add those together. 6 plus 10, which gives us 16. So $16 for the breakdown of all 5 people for 3 days, followed by 3 people for 2 days. So what's the difference between these? Well, this is actually $2 more expensive. So C was our correct answer. All right, on the next one. All right, on this one, they gave you a lot of information, and you just have to make sure you read it carefully as to what they wanted. So it said, she chose the one that offered her the least cost per puzzle. So really, all you need to do is take the cost per edition and divide it by the number of puzzles per edition. You don't have to do anything else. So this information is irrelevant for what they're asking. So on each one of these, you're going to take the price and divide by whatever the number is there. So here you divide by 64, here you divide by 30, here you're dividing by 30, and here you're dividing by 40. Now, once you do that, you can come up with the price per edition. So for the first one, it comes out to 5 cents per edition. The second one is 0.08, so 8 cents per edition. The next one is 0.06, so 6 cents per edition. And the last one is 0.085, so a little over 8 cents per edition. What's the cheapest one? Well, it's the first one, Puzzle Mania. So A was our correct answer. All right, number 3. All right, this one, it's another one of those visual ones, kind of like that box problem from the other day. Now, correct answer here is A. I'm just going to go ahead and start with A. Looking at where we have 2 boxes that look about the same shape and size right next to each other, I right away notice the top here has 2 right next to each other like that. So that would be a good starting point to see if it fits the pattern. Now, if that doesn't fit the pattern from there, you might have to try other spots. But I already know that this is where this pattern starts. So if we go through, you notice here we have a skinny rectangle, followed by another skinny rectangle, followed by a square, then a skinny rectangle, then a square, then a skinny rectangle, another skinny rectangle, and another skinny rectangle. So 3 in a row, followed by a larger rectangle, followed by a skinny rectangle, followed by a skinny rectangle, followed by a square. So that matches starting from this point, going around the figure in this manner, all the way to this point here. All right. None of the other ones match all the sides perfectly. Some of them come close, but there's little things wrong about each of the others. All right, going on to number 4. This one was kind of confusing at first. So they gave you one of the 5 quote lists. We don't know what all the other things are, but just looking at these prices, we can identify that the most expensive things that they're gonna have to pay for are wood, posts, and labor. Those are the 3 most expensive things. So in each one of my lists, I'm going to identify the 3 most expensive things. So here's these 3. On this one, it's these 3. On this one, it's these 3. And this one, it's these 3. So once I identified the 3 most expensive things, and again, they're most expensive by quite a bit. The other ones are relatively cheap compared to those. So I'm looking to match up wood, posts, and labor with those 3 expensive prices. Well, when I do that, again, I would start with what they have here and see if any of these make sense. So let's start with P and see if 2 goes with it. Well, let's see. Right away, that doesn't match up. That's varnish at the top. So that's probably not going to be it. All right. So then let's see if varnish, let's see, our P, let's try P4. So here's 4. All right. We got varnish, which is a low one, wood, which is a high one, nails, which is low, cement, which was low. Oh, this one's high. Doesn't work. So I already got those 2 don't really match. Go down to C. All right, P3. Let's try P and 3. All right, well, we got varnish, which was low, wood, which was high. That's good. Nails, which was low, cement, which was low, posts, which is high, and labor, which is high. Right now, P and 3, that's looking pretty good. So we'll come back and see if we have to go further with that one, or if maybe we can cancel off the last one. So P and 1. Varnish, which was low, wood, which was high. Oh, that's low. That doesn't work. So right away, just looking at the P list, it must be C. Now, if we check the rest of these, they also work. So here's Q and 1. And notice, posts, wood, and labor, most expensive. Then we have the next one for R. R2, you have labor, wood, posts. Again, correct order. Then you have for S and 4, posts, wood, and labor. So those are all good. All right. So C was our correct answer there. Moving on to number 5. On number 5, we have a menu, and they tell us exactly what everybody ordered. So all we really have to do on number 5 is make a list of what everybody ordered. Or again, you could use this list up here and just add as we went along. But it said we had an order of cod chips. All right, so we have that first. But he also got an order of or portion of peas. Then we had an order of, I'm not sure how to say that one, but that second one on the list, followed also by a portion of peas. Then we had 2 of the sausage and chips. And then they also got 2 more orders of chips. So this is their full order. What did it all add up to? 2040. So D was our correct answer. All right, my number 6. So first thing I would do on this one is draw a rectangle that represents the plastic that we're cutting it out from, which was 15 by 20. And figure out ways you could get rectangles that are 6 by 10 out of those. So one thing I could do is, all right, I could split this right down the middle so that each of these is 10. And then I could cut 6 and 6. And I'd have 4 left over. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could get 4. Oh, I'm off the screen. There we go. Sorry. So I split it down the middle. And then I split it sideways. I could get 6, 6, and oops, not 4. That should be 3. But anyway, there's not enough room there left on top. So really it's just these 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's 4 that I could get from one sheet of plastic. Well, what if I tried doing them the other way? Well, if I did 6, this would be 6 by 10. Let's say I did that a couple times. And then I did it one more time. Well, I'd be able to get 3, but then I wouldn't have enough left over here. So here I got 4, here I got 3. The most I can get out of one sheet is 4. They want to know, what is the smallest number of plastic boards I can use? We need a total of 10 rectangles. So how many boards of 4 do I need to use? 10? Well, that'd be a total of 3 boards I'd have to cut. Now it's okay, I would end up with 12 if I cut them all the same, but I need at least 3 boards in order to get that answer. All right, let's do 2 more and then we'll stop. So on number 7, we have a list of prices for food and drink, and we have a total, and we also have the service charge. Now, you could do this a couple different ways. All right. What I would do on this one is take the total and subtract off the service charge so that you have the price of the food and the drink together. Then take the price of the service charge, divide it by the total for the food and drink, and that will give you the percentage of the service charge, which is 12.5%, which is option B. Now, for 8 here, this one was really weird, and I'm going to guess that you probably had a lot of problems with this one. So for it took me a couple tries, but what I ended up realizing on this one is that each one of these lines represents 10 units. So the inside part at each of the vertices, that's each one of the special abilities. And this would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this one's a 60 and this one's a 60. And that gave me a starting place because there's only 2 60s on this chart. So I know these 2 have to be these 2 people. All right. Next, If I look at who's left here, this one has 53. This one doesn't have anything over 31. So notice I have a point out here past the 5 ring. This one would be the 53 that I have here. That's really all you would need to do in order to answer this question, because now we know we have these 3 people represented. This is the only one not represented. If you figured out the entire thing, you could figure it out so that you would see that this corner ends up being speed in each chart. This one ends up being agility. This one ends up being strength. This one is stealth. And this one is honor. Now, and that's the same for each chart in the same positions. So this chart belongs to the guy's name that starts with an F there. This one belongs to the one that begins with an S. Oops. Try to switch around those letters. And this one belongs to the one that began with a C. And again, Power Fist was the one that was missing. So those are the first 8. Again, I'm sure there's other problems that you have questions on, but I also know that you probably have a lot that are still not answered. So finish or try to finish during the class period. And then I will check off what you've got done on Monday, and I'll show you the rest of the answers and try to answer other questions. All right. Have a good day and a good weekend.